here they only see me as a gringo sometimes, right? They think, we all have white people. Not only do white people say that to black people, white people say that to white people. If you're darker, if you're the darker one in your family, they will call you. All right, guys. Disclaimer before we start this video. I am not in El Choco. I'm not in Buenaventura. I am not in Guapi. I am not in any of the cities here in Colombia that are mostly populated by black people. So that's the first thing I wanted to make clear before I start this video. So let's get into it. I've been here in Colombia for about 1 year now. About 1 year. Actually, a year and some months. So when I first started doing YouTube, I was a little careful about what I showed in my videos, right? Because I didn't want to say something and it be false, or it be politically incorrect. So I want to express myself good in this video. I want you guys to understand me. So I will be talking with a little bit more finesse, I guess you can say. Tenacity. Okay, guys, so what is this video about? This video is about me as a black American, like feeling lost in Colombian culture. And you might ask yourself, well, how? Like, there's so many black people here in Colombia. Well, I'm gonna express that to you right now. So first things first, we're just gonna dive into it, right? I'm not gonna talk in circles around you guys. First things first, the people here use words to refer to black people. And one of them can be negro, right? Negrito or negro. So the people here, they might say, hola mi negrito, hola mi negro. And they use it as a term of endearment. Now when I say the people, I mean everybody. White people, mestiza, trigueña. If you know Colombia, then you know the amount of races they have here. It's so many. So any person can use this word. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people here in Colombia that don't allow people to use that word, because I actually have friends that don't permit that word to be said to them, right? But yes, they tell people, hola mi negrito, ¿cómo estás? Right? I've been in places, and if somebody tells you that this is not true, then they're lying, because I've been in many places where people will say hola mi negra to somebody black. Like a white person will say that to a black person. And me coming from the United States, knowing our history, is like, that's something that I would never, or I just can't imagine that happening in the United States in my mind, right? And if you guys don't know, negro means black, right? So it basically, hello me blackie. No, that sounds horrible. But no, seriously guys, so actually I'm gonna share with you the first time this happened to me. The first time I was in Colombia, I was in the park, and this guy, he was basically doing like a show, or he was trying to gain money. He was like a street performer. And so he called me, he was like, hola mi negrito. He said that to me. And so I was like, yo, what did he just say? But he said it in such a way where it wasn't like, I could tell he wasn't being offensive, because I'm kind of emotionally intelligent, so I won't let my feelings like overtake me. So I kind of knew that he wasn't saying it that way. And from that day on, I kind of had this thought like, okay, maybe the people here say that to each other out of a caring type of spirit. So that brings me to my next point. I have friends that have asked me, hey, how do you feel when people say that to you? I said, don't use that word with me. Don't use that word with me. Why? Because in these times, I realized that, hey, I'm not Colombian, right? I'm not Colombian, right? And so yes, I've told people like, hey, don't use that word with me. I got some stories for you guys. And there's another word, Nietzsche, right? This word is used to refer to a black person, right? And people use this a lot, like, hola Nietzsche, right? Black people say it to black people, but since I'm in Cali and I'm in a more mixed population, I've heard more white people say this about black people, like, ese Nietzsche es bacano, right? Or just stuff like that. And so just having society having words to refer to black people didn't sit right with me. And you know, sometimes I still battle with that, like, because I come from the United States. If you're from the United States, you know our history is tough. And if you say the opposite, then you really don't know the history of our country. You know, slavery, the North versus the South, right? Civil rights movements, everything. And so I believe that actually, I'm gonna go into my past. So me growing up as a black kid in America, I experienced a lot of racism. So like I'll be walking down the street and somebody called me N-word, because as a kid, I'm gonna go off a little bit, give you guys a little story, una anécdota, and we will be back. So as a kid, I went to all black schools, right? As a kid. And that's all that I seen, right? And then my parents, one day, they upped and moved me to another school. Almost the opposite of what I went to. I went through a lot of racism at this school. Like, I'll be walking down the street and people will call me the N-word or just say offensive things to me. So my past with racism might be heavier than somebody else's, okay? So these words, like to call black people negrito, Nietzsche, right? It blew my mind. It still blows my mind to a certain extent. Now, do people say this from a bad place? No, I've seen many situations here of people using these words, and they say it out of love, out of care. It's just something that they do here, you know? So, but still though, I don't see myself 100% immersed in that culture, because if I told you guys that when somebody's calling me negrito or Nietzsche, that I feel like 100% like in the culture, I'll be lying to you, you know? So like I said, disclaimer, I am not in Guapi, I am not in Choco, I'm not in Buenaventura, I'm in Cali. So there's more diversity when it comes to the population, right? When it comes to race, okay? So I just wanted to say that first. That was the first thing. Ooh, yo, the next thing, you know what's crazy? And this video is gonna be super honest. I see more interracial couples here than anywhere I've ever been in my life. In the United States, if you guys are American, or if my friends are watching this, if you guys are U.S. citizens, my friends don't like when I use American. Okay, if you guys are U.S. citizens, then you know that interracial marriage and relationships aren't as popular. You know, I think nowadays they're getting more popular and popular, but here, yo, it's normal. I'm talking about it's normal. And then the neighborhoods, most of the neighborhoods are mixed here. Now, I do have friends that have told me, hey, there are certain neighborhoods that you can go to that they won't let me in because I'm black. But I have yet to experience that. So, the mixing of races here is I'm sorry guys, I'm thinking in English, Spanish. Is impressive. It's super impressive. It's something so normal, like they love it, they embrace it. I think that's why maybe they're comfortable with using the word mi negrito, because there's so many like interracial relationships here. And disclaimer, not only do white people say that to black people, white people say that to white people. If you're the darker one in your family, they will call you negrito, even though you're not black by race. So this is something that just blows my mind. But let me continue. If you guys know, in the United States, if you go into a neighborhood, it's very common that neighborhood will be dominated by one race. What do I mean by that? Okay, you have, in the United States, you have white neighborhoods, you have black neighborhoods, you have Indian neighborhoods, yes. You have Arabic neighborhoods in Detroit. If you guys, there's a city called Dearborn, and shout out to all my people in Dearborn, but the Dearborn community is populated by literally almost all Arabic people, and that's fine. Like, it's nothing wrong with that. This is just how our society is built in the United States. So I just want to show you guys the difference. Here, you will see a white person in your neighborhood, a black person. That for me, I'm not saying that I don't like it. What I'm saying is it's a change. And if you guys say that I would never feel uncomfortable and this, that, and the third, we're all humans. We all have minds. And when our minds are exposed to change, sometimes our minds feel uncomfortable, you know? So I'm just making this video as honest as I can. I freaking love Colombia, by the way. So if you guys have seen my YouTube channel, you guys know that I love Colombia, and it's not to say that I don't like this. This is just me trying to identify myself here in this place, right? Coming from the United States. So let me continue. Oh, okay. Another thing, here in Colombia, or Cali, Colombia, per se, a lot of people identify as Colombian, right? Before they say their race, right? They say Colombian before they say their race, if I'm not mistaken. So in the United States, I'm used to saying I'm black before I say I'm a US citizen or I'm American, right? Or even everybody, like, I feel like we are used to saying our race before our nationality. Here, I think it's the other way. They say their nationality before they say their race. And I feel like here they're pretty united. In the United States, we're pretty segregated. Because you guys have to remember, not even 100 years ago, I have grandparents that lived through segregation, right? I have grandparents. I was looking at this part. I have to look at this part. I have grandparents that lived through segregation, you know? So segregation isn't too far away from nowadays in our country. It isn't too far away. So if you guys sit here and tell me that there isn't still a stigma or a bad feeling in the air, then you're lying to me. Or you don't have friends from other races, right? Me, I can speak about this freely because I have friends literally from so many diverse backgrounds, right? If you guys know, the way that I learned Spanish, I didn't learn from black people. No, I learned from my Mexican friends, right? So I've been able to be exposed to so many different backgrounds and people, so I can talk about this a little more freely. Okay, so next thing that has blown my mind here, like, a lot of people enjoy black culture here. I feel like in the United States, people enjoy black culture too, but due to the fact that a lot of races in the United States stick to their own people, that's why I mentioned the neighborhoods, right? You see people moving to a certain neighborhood where they see more of their race. I feel like we are more closed to people coming into our cultures, right? Or a lot of parents might be like, hey, I don't want you dating that white girl. Hey, I don't want you dating that black girl. Hey, I don't want you dating that such and such, whoever the person may be, right? Here is different, and they enjoy black culture, everybody, right? Now, that's super different because, you know what? I'm not going to comment on this yet. I want to actually ask somebody who is black from here, who has black roots, and how they feel about, you know, everybody celebrating their culture. So I'm not going to go into that. Ooish. Another thing is, sometimes I have a hard time having people sympathize for my history, right? As an African American, right? Because if you're a human being, any human being, actually in the Western hemisphere, I think you know about slavery. You should know about slavery. Now, if you know about American slavery, the history of American slavery, now that's different, right? So another thing I have a hard time doing is having people sympathize with my history or the history of my ancestors in my country, or what black people go through in the United States, right? And we can even stretch it to people of color, right? Police brutality, right? racism, right? Like I said, segregation wasn't even 100 years ago in the United States. I've experienced a lot of stuff, guys. I don't share this on my YouTube channel, but if somebody knows racism, I can raise my hand. Here, they only see me as a gringo sometimes, right? They think, we all have money. Not all Colombians. I love my Colombian friends, but a lot of people be like, you're good, right? Your life is good. Your life is chévere, right? Todo bien. But I don't see my life as that sometimes. Now, as an American, I have great opportunities. I will say this right now. The United States is a wonderful country because they offer so many opportunities, dude. I never take it for granted. But people really don't understand the depth of the society in the United States, right? They don't understand unless they go there. So a lot of people see me as somebody maybe who has money, or maybe your life is easy. Your life is easier than mine. I've gotten this a lot of times. You have privilege here in my country because you're a United States citizen. So a lot of times I feel lost because of this, like, this person doesn't understand me, right? You don't know my struggle, right? We all feel like that at sometimes. And it's okay to feel that, right? Because we all have different experiences in life. And until you open yourself up to another culture or another people, you won't know anybody else's struggle. You will not know anybody else's struggle. I have friends, like I said, from different races, and I've had to learn their struggle. Like, wow, I never could have imagined going through what my other friends from other races go through, because that's not my life. And it's not bad, right? We're humans, but we can't be closed and then shame somebody else, right, for doing what they do. No, I don't know your story. So teach me. I'm open to learning, okay? So guys, I just wanted to make that quick little video for you guys. I hope you like it. Comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me how you feel. If you're black from Colombia, tell me how you feel. If you're white from Colombia, tell me how you feel. If you're mestiza, trigueña, mulatto. See, these are some of the things that blow my mind, right? The amount of races that they have here in Colombia, it's crazy. But I love you guys, man. Peace, love, man. Keep God first. God bless you. Thank you, Jesus, for giving me another chance to do a video. I love y'all.